Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and prepare to be enthralled by the compelling and tumultuous love life of the one and only Marilyn Monroe. For those that don't know, she was the platinum blonde bombshell actress of Hollywood's golden era. Marilyn's journey through love was a mesmerizing cocktail of passion, scandal, and heartbreak, set against the backdrop of fame and fortune. So, without further ado, let's delve into the intimate and often scandalous details of Marilyn Monroe's love life, up until her untimely death in 1962. Before she became Marilyn Monroe, Norma Jeane Mortensen had a challenging start. Born on June 1, 1926 in Los Angeles, California, her early life was marked by instability. Whilst her mother, Gladys, worked as a film cutter at a Hollywood studio, she had a tumultuous past which included several marriages and ongoing struggles with mental health. Added to this, Norma Jeane's father was a mystery. Her birth certificate listed Martin Edward Mortensen as her father, but it's widely believed he was not her biological parent. Gladys rarely spoke about him, and Norma Jeane grew up without a paternal figure, setting in stone a sense of abandonment that haunted her for years. Gladys's mental health deteriorated when Norma Jeane was very young, leading to her being institutionalized. As a result, between 1935 and 1942, Norma Jeane spent much of her childhood in foster care and orphanages. Each stint was fraught with uncertainty and often neglect. A brief time spent reuniting and living with her mother ended in Gladys being diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and then permanently institutionalized. This traumatic event forced Norma Jeane back into the lonely, harsh, cruel, and often unloving foster care system. To escape the cycle of foster homes and the threat of returning to the orphanage, 16-year-old Norma Jeane married James Doherty, a 21-year-old neighbor. This marriage was more about escaping her difficult circumstances than true love. And, although they divorced in 1946, it was during this marriage that Norma Jeane, herself and her career, began to blossom. As Marilyn's star began to rise, so did her encounters with Hollywood's elite. During this period, she was linked to a slew of influential men, including the powerful talent agent Johnny Hyde. The year was 1948, and Marilyn Monroe was a struggling actress, trying to make a name for herself in the competitive world of Hollywood. Johnny Hyde, the renowned talent agent and vice president of the William Morris Agency, had an eye for discovering and nurturing talent. Marilyn and Hyde first met at a party hosted by Hollywood insiders. Hyde, who was in his mid-50s at the time, was immediately captivated by Marilyn's striking looks and magnetic presence. Under Johnny Hyde's guidance, Marilyn's career began to flourish. He used his considerable influence to secure her better roles and introduce her to key figures in the industry. Beyond their professional relationship, Johnny Hyde and Marilyn Monroe shared a deep personal connection. Hyde was deeply infatuated with Marilyn and proposed to her multiple times. She never accepted, wary of being seen as a gold digger. Tragically, in the late 1940s, Johnny Hyde was diagnosed with heart disease. He passed away on December 18, 1950, leaving Marilyn devastated by the loss of her mentor, greatest champion and dear friend. In 1952, Marilyn met Joe DiMaggio, the legendary New York Yankees center fielder. Their relationship quickly became the talk of the town. On January 14, 1954, they married in a civil ceremony in San Francisco. However, their honeymoon in Japan was cut short by Marilyn's commitment to entertain U.S. troops in Korea, signaling the first signs of tension. The marriage was a stormy one, characterized by Joe's jealousy and Marilyn's skyrocketing fame. The infamous scene of Marilyn's skirt billowing over a subway grate in The 7-Year Itch didn't help. By October 1954, just 9 months after their wedding, Marilyn filed for divorce, citing mental cruelty. Despite the divorce, Joe remained one of Marilyn's closest confidants until her death. Following DiMaggio, Marilyn's love life continued to be a whirlwind. She was linked to several men, including playwright Arthur Miller, whom she began dating in 1955. Their intellectual connection was intense, a stark contrast to her previous relationships. Marilyn Monroe and Arthur Miller first crossed paths in 1951, where they met at a Hollywood party through a mutual friend. Despite their vastly different worlds, they felt an immediate intellectual connection. Their paths diverged after that initial meeting, but destiny had other plans. In 1955, as Marilyn was struggling with her burgeoning fame and a tumultuous marriage to baseball legend Joe DiMaggio, she reconnected with Miller. Marilyn had just begun studying at the Actors Studio in New York, seeking to hone her craft and gain credibility as a serious actress. It was in this environment, amidst the bohemian and intellectual circles of New York, that their bond deepened. By 1956, Marilyn and Arthur's relationship had become serious. They faced considerable public scrutiny and criticism, as their relationship was seen by many as a complete mismatch. Miller, intellectual and reserved, contrasted sharply with Marilyn's public persona of a glamorous, often misunderstood starlet. Despite the odds, they were deeply in love, and in June 1956, Marilyn and Arthur Miller tied the knot. Their wedding was a private ceremony held in White Plains, New York, followed by a Jewish ceremony 2 days later, where Marilyn converted to Judaism, showcasing her commitment to their union. The couple then embarked on a honeymoon in London, where Marilyn was filming The Prince and the Showgirl with Laurence Olivier. Their marriage was plagued by personal and professional challenges. Marilyn suffered several miscarriages, and her battle with substance abuse put a strain on their marriage. Marilyn often turned to alcohol to ease her anxiety and boost her confidence in social settings. However, the relief was temporary, and her alcohol dependence gradually grew. Also, the relentless demands of stardom exacerbated her dependency on substances. Hollywood in the 1950s was an unforgiving environment, especially for a woman of Marilyn's status. She was expected to maintain an impeccable image, deliver stellar performances, and handle the pressures of fame all by herself. This also led Marilyn to seek solace in prescription drugs, particularly barbiturates and amphetamines. During her marriage to Arthur Miller, Marilyn also starred in some of her most iconic films, but her insecurities and reliance on drugs deepened. By January 1961, their 5-year marriage had crumbled, and they divorced, citing irreconcilable differences. Miller later channeled his emotions into his play, After the Fall, which many believe was inspired by their tumultuous relationship. Despite the end of their marriage, both spoke fondly of each other in later years, acknowledging the deep connection they once shared. During the final year of Marilyn's life, she was linked to several high-profile men, including Frank Sinatra and John F. Kennedy. Marilyn Monroe and Frank Sinatra's relationship was a blend of friendship, mutual admiration, and romance, set against the glamorous backdrop of Hollywood's elite. They first met in the early 1950s, and their paths crossed frequently in the social circles of the rich and famous. One of the most notable periods of their relationship occurred in 1961, after Marilyn's divorce from Arthur Miller. During this time, Marilyn spent a significant amount of time at Sinatra's Calneva Lodge, a casino resort he co-owned on the shores of Lake Tahoe. The resort, known for its exclusivity and high-profile guests, provided a discreet haven for their secret meetings. Sinatra, known for his charm and connections, was reportedly very protective of Marilyn. He admired her beauty and vulnerability, and she found solace in his company. Nevertheless, their relationship was complicated by Sinatra's turbulent romantic life and his involvement with the criminal underworld. Despite their close bond, their romance was never officially confirmed, and it remained an elusive chapter in both their lives. The most scandalous and well-documented of Marilyn's relationships was her affair with the wholesome, married, President John F. Kennedy, known as JFK. Their relationship, which was shrouded in secrecy and intrigue, is the stuff of legend. Though brief, it was intense. Marilyn and JFK were introduced through mutual friends in Hollywood and Washington, D.C. It is widely believed that their affair began in the early 1960s, during his presidency. Marilyn and JFK's relationship was characterized by secret meetings, often arranged by his close aides. They reportedly spent time together at various locations, including his family compound in Hyannisport and at private residences. One of the most iconic moments that fueled rumors of their relationship was Marilyn's sultry performance at JFK's birthday celebration in 1962. Marilyn's intimate rendition of "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" captivated the audience and added to the speculation of an affair. Marilyn was reportedly infatuated with him, but he viewed their relationship as a casual fling. After JFK reportedly distanced himself from Marilyn, his younger brother RFK is believed to have stepped in to manage the situation. There are conflicting accounts about the nature of their relationship, ranging from platonic to romantic. On August 4, 1962, the night before Marilyn's death, it is alleged that RFK visited her home. Some accounts suggest that their meeting was to discuss her erratic behavior and her threats to go public with the relationships she'd had with the Kennedy brothers. This visit, coupled with Marilyn's subsequent death, has fueled countless conspiracy theories about the involvement of the Kennedy family in her demise. Marilyn's life came to a tragic and mysterious end on August 5, 1962. She was found dead in her Brentwood, California home. Her death was ruled a probable suicide, based on an apparent overdose. Marilyn Monroe's love life was a roller coaster of soaring highs and devastating lows. She was a woman who craved love and acceptance, yet her relationships were often marred by jealousy, insecurity, and the overwhelming pressures of fame. Her beauty and sensuality captivated the world, but behind the glamour was a vulnerable soul that yearned for true love. Thank you for joining us on this intimate journey through the loves and losses of Marilyn Monroe. Stay tuned to Love Network for more riveting stories from the vaults of Hollywood history. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.